Good evening. Welcome to the February 24th Valley View School Board meeting. Mr. Gugis, if you would please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's got their, you ready?
Me?
Crystal? Sure. Board affirmation statement, please.
Our mission is to ensure that all students are prepared for college and a successful life, academically, socially, and emotionally, as well as equipped with the necessary tools to have options and make decisions about their long-term goals. This will be accomplished by believing and working towards all students learning through rigorous curricula and meaningful, effective instruction, consequently demonstrating mastery on high-quality assessments with all stakeholders being held accountable throughout the process.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to ask the board to approve the agenda as presented.
Any discussion?
Yes. I presented to the board at the last two meetings about having sessions with the board and the Valley View School District employees. You guys can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All righty. I presented to this board for us to consider having meetings, the board and the employees of Valley View School District, and I have not had a response. And I want us to consider looking at that as an agenda matter, like ASAP. I know we've set up where the community will be meeting to ask all their questions, but I don't think that my question have been considered by this board, because I always ask that question over the last two meetings. I've asked that question at the end of the meeting. So I'm asking that question now so it will be known and that you guys can hear me clearly what I am requesting, and when are we going to consider doing that?
Well, we can put on the next agenda meeting item. If you want to let me know exactly what it is you're requesting, I'm sure that we can accommodate. Oh, and you can also contact Dr. Mitchum. Next, motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
In second.
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Oppose?
Thank you. Ayes have it. Dr. Mitchum, consent agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to ask that the board approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.5. 5.1 board meeting minutes, February 10th, 2014. 5.2 executive session meeting minutes, February 10th, 2014. 5.3 approval of executive session minutes. 5.4 gifts for Bolingbrook High School, and 5.5 trips for Bolingbrook and Romeoville High Schools.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
No.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes?
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Pillars of Valley View, student and staff recognition. First up is Brooks Middle School. Mr. Felice, if you would please.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchum, Senior Leadership, Board of Education, Community. I'm Christina Sylvester, Assistant Principal at Brooks Middle School, and I am proud to acknowledge Mr. Miguel Salinas, a school psychologist, as a pillar of Valley View. Mr. Salinas goes above and beyond to connect with students and develop supportive relationships. He is a mentor and a role model for the young people in our building. In addition, he is an invaluable resource as a bilingual psychologist and is utilized not only at Brooks, but throughout the district to facilitate Spanish language testing and translation support for families. In the words of a colleague, Miguel is always thinking of what is best for students and is proactive and creative in finding strategies to support them. He is thoughtful in the way he approaches a situation and is always willing to talk to staff members when problems or concerns arise. He is definitely a pillar of Valley View. Thank you, Miguel.
Next up, Tibbet Elementary. Member Campbell.
Members of the board, senior leadership, community members, it is our pleasure tonight to introduce you to a Tibbet and VVSD pillar. With me is Amanda Tucker, our assistant principal, to assist, and I'm Anna Wilson, principal at Tibbet Elementary. It is with pleasure that we present Mrs. Erin Preeter, Tibbet's choice for Pillar of Valley View. We could easily write and recite a book's worth of praise for Mrs. Preeter, but alas, time does not allow. Erin is not only our school LMC director, but she is also the force behind a push to integrate technology to its fullest in the instructional process. Erin, the librarian, as her followers on Twitter know her, not only sees the value in introducing children to the joys of handling book pages and losing themselves in other worlds, but she also recognizes that we need to create a bridge between their thirst for technology and reading in general. She begins engaging them as early as preschool with the Thursday Storytime Hour for non-school-aged children. Being able to transition from working with preschoolers and then switching to fifth graders shortly after does not faze Erin. She does it with ease and makes it all happen. In addition to her instructional responsibilities, Erin has also become a prolific grant writer, earning the school thousands of dollars over the years. We are proud to present Erin with the Pillar of Valley View recognition.
Next up, Independent School. Member Sikora.
Good evening. I'm Kim Mulcahy, principal at Independence School, and along with me I have Mrs. Michelle Zepka, board member Sikora, and Mr. Jason Ware. Jason Ware is being honored tonight as a Pillar of Valley View for the contributions he has made at Independence School, where he has been a fourth grade teacher for the past 12 years. As a member of the building leadership team, Jason is one who can motivate and inspire staff to consider new ideas. This year, he eagerly participated in the implementation of co-teaching in his classroom, working with both a special education teacher and a reading teacher. This unique learning environment created many successes for his students. Mr. Ware volunteers to tutor students after school and always embraces parents as partners in the education process. He is also well known for his consideration of others within the school and often clears snows from the cars of his teammates at the end of the day, something that was a monumental task this past winter. We are pleased to recognize Mr. Jason Ware this evening as a Pillar of the Valley View School District.
Next up, the Brooks Bulldogs, girls basketball state qualifiers.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchum, Senior Leadership, Board of Education, and community members. I am Loretta Fortute, the other assistant principal at Brooks Middle School, and I am very proud of all of our teams and coaches. And just as proud to introduce the recently announced Co-Coach of the Year for Division IX, Mr. Allen Hampton, to honor and introduce our 8th grade girls basketball team.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was a surprise to me to be nominated for Co-Coach of the Year. But I wouldn't have been able to do that without these girls here and the help of everybody involved. And as you know, anytime there's success, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes unnoticed. So at this time, I'd like to acknowledge that. First, I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Mitchum and your administrative team for all the work that you do for us. I'd like to say thank you to Steve Quigley and all the board members for all the work that you do, especially since you have to sign the checks for our stipends. I'd like to say thank you to Larry Randa, who from time to time when we travel all over the state would follow us, take pictures so you would be posted on our progress and where we are. I'd also like to say thank you to Dr. Wood and your administrative team for all the work that you do for us at Brooks. I'd like to say thank you to Angie McDonald, who is the Brooks Athletic Director, for all the work that she does to keep the team, to keep all the athletic programs together. I'd like to say thank you to Coach Kerr for all her help. She is the 7th grade coach for Brooks Middle School, and she does a lot of work as far as keeping the team together. She's in the building. I'd also like to note that during the season she was expecting a young one who is here with her tonight. She had that young one, and when we went downstate, she still traveled downstate with us to be a part of that. So I want to thank you for that. I'd also like to say thank you to the parents who put in all the time, traveling to the game, supporting us, and picking your kids up after practice. I know there's a lot involved with that. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to the young ladies who put in all the hard work this season to take us downstate. Real quick, just to give you a little background about our success this season. We played at the Joliet Central Girls Basketball Tournament where we took first place in that tournament. We played 2 games in regionals, which we hosted this year. We won both of those games to proceed on to sectionals. We played 1 game in sectionals, which we hosted this year, and was able to win that game, where we went downstate and faced Summit Hill, who ultimately ended up beating us, but we took, Summit Hill took 3rd in the state. So after that, it was a great job and hard work by these ladies. And several of these young ladies I've been coaching since they were in 6th grade. So they've worked all the way up the program, and it is that hard work and dedication that they put in, not only with the players, the coaches, administration, and the parents, that got us to the point to where we are today. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the 2013-2014 Lady Bulldogs. First, Ariel Sanders. Marissa Manning. Michaela Francia. Amber Armstrong. Maya Harmon. Hannah Smith. Joyce Tipe. Taylor Robinson. Francesca Aniceto. Zuzi Malunga. And last but not least, Simba Malunga. There were a couple ladies that were not able to be here tonight due to other commitments, and I'd just like to acknowledge them as well. Be Jaden Maribel, who's a 6th grader this year, Marvina Rocket, and Nagazia Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Because it's a school night, you girls don't have to stick around for the rest of the meeting. We'll wait till you get your pictures taken and what have you. For those of you who don't know that, Coach Hampton is also a police officer in Bolingbrook and works as one of our safety officers in school. Thanks, Coach. Better get in there and get in that picture, bud. Squeeze in. Next up, the Illinois Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance Bone Health Video Contest. I think Larry is on it. He is on it. Not on the video, but maybe ready to put the video up. Somehow I don't see you in the jump and run video, Larry. 3 days a week, there you go. Dr. Wood, if you would, please.
Well, definitely looks like it's Brooks night tonight. Perhaps you guys should have the meeting at our building. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Put in a request.
I am going to forego the salutations, and before we begin, I would like to say that I'm just very pleased that we have a forum to highlight the amazing accomplishments of our staff and our students, and the amazing projects that our staff and students engage in district-wide. There is no shortage of individuals who go the extra mile to provide invaluable experiences for our students, and Mr. Burke is one of those individuals. At this time, I'd like to call him forward to share the project he submitted on behalf of a host of students and staff members to highlight bone health awareness. Mr. Burke.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight to tell a short story about a project that we did at Brooks, focusing on our 7th grade PE leaders. In late May last year, we were members of the IAFERD organization, which I'm a member. We were invited to promote the research that found that regularly participated high-impact exercise during adolescence can significantly reduce the risk of osteoporosis. This seemed like an exciting project to me, so I brought it to our 7th grade PE leaders class and told them about it. We had a concept, and we spent a week really just totally engaged in this activity. And then school got out, and I did a little editing and submitted it. And then last November at the IAFERD convention, we were selected as a finalist. So why don't we show the tape here, and then I can say congratulations to the girls that worked
Boys, did you know exercise helps you grow? When you jump and you run, you do more than just have fun. Working out makes you strong, helps your bones to last long. There's proof through your life, sports can make you feel alright. So get out, be active. Research shows what happens. Your body trained right can be fit all your life. So know you have the power to fortify your body now. Help your body to be fit. It's your life that you stay.
Thank you. Kaylee and Lexi, both seen in the video, did our initial audio of that. And as we went forward, it was suggested that we bring Bryn into the project. Bryn was an 8th grade PE leader at the time with a tremendous singing voice, and her voice was focused on that. You may have heard at the second half of the video the band. That's the Brooks Middle School band, and Mr. Finn did a wonderful job producing that tape so we could edit it into the project. I'd like to just point out that all the video you saw was shot in one class period, and as a reflection of the real high level of performance that our PE leadership program can produce. So thank you.
Next up, social emotional partnerships.
Good evening, Dr. Mitchum, school board members, community members, and senior leadership. I'm very happy to be here tonight to introduce you to some community members that have made a huge contribution to our district. If you would all step up here, please. From Linden Oaks Behavioral Health, the division of Edward Hospital, is community liaison Katie Anderson, who's the facilitator of the SOS Suicide Prevention Program, and Amit Thacker, who's the director of marketing. In response to needs that we had to lower the number of suicide ideations in our district, we partnered with Edward Health to put on this program. And Katie has reached every 7th and 9th grade student in health classes over a period of 30 days. So that is a huge, huge commitment. The program goal is to teach students the signs of depression and how to get assistance for themselves and for their friends. And we hope to do the same program again next year. So thank you, Amit and Katie. We also would like to recognize Erin Gilmartin and Donna Plyer from Guardian Angel Sexual Assault Service Center. To comply with the new Erin's Law, which is a sexual prevention program for pre-K through 5th grade, we partnered with them. And they have provided in-depth training for 13 elementary school staff in every classroom from pre-K through 5th grade over a period of a month. We've also done this program with the help of some of our bilingual clinicians, and we've had almost 400 parents come to training meetings also. So I want to thank them for their contribution. It's been a huge effort. And last but not least, Heather Randazzo, from Child Abuse Prevention Coordinator from Advocate Health Child Trauma Center, is providing a free program here on March 28th at the Administrative Center. And it's the nationally recognized Stewards of Children's program, which again is geared to protecting children from the prevalent danger of sexual abuse. The program is free of charge and is available to both staff and community members. And as a district, we've worked really hard on this Erin's Law to make sure that we weren't only getting the message out to the students, but that we were reaching every group of people, whether it be parents, students, staff, etc., so that we can make sure that we're really making a dent in this problem. And the bus company called today and asked for the training also. So there you go. Thank you very much, everyone.
Next up, liaison reports. From my right, any and all, please. From my left.
We had a safety meeting at Bolingbrook High School this past Wednesday, led by Mr. Leroy Brown, and Mr. Grizzafi was there, as well as both security leaders from the various high schools and so forth, and a couple of members of the community were there as well. And several of the issues that have occurred over the last few weeks have been discussed, and some action plans have been put in place, as well as some progress as far as notifications and how we're going to be improving each and every building as we move forward. So some of those reports are forthcoming, and some of the things are actually, one of the things is on the agenda later on down on tonight's agenda. So it was a very productive meeting, and something that the safety of all the buildings is taken very seriously, and we're being very proactive in moving forward.
Thank you.
Just to tag on to that, there was also a meeting with senior administration, building principals, the village of Romeoville, the Romeoville Police Department, to discuss our procedures when there's emergencies that are in the community, but not necessarily at our schools. You know, most recently there was an event that occurred, and that was discussed in great detail, our action plans, a recap of what happened, and how to handle that better.
Next up, audience participation. Anybody wishes to address the board this evening, please step forward and state your name.
My name is Suzanne Otto. I live in Bolingbrook. I am asking you to not raise fees again this year. I did look up the fees for the past 2 years in comparison just to this year. In 2011, 2012, grades 1 through 5, total registration book and registration was $50. This year it was $70, or I'm sorry, last year it was $70. This year it's $80. You're looking to go $85, $90 in the next 2 years. Middle school. 2011, 2012, book fee, registration fee was $100. Last year was $130. This year $145. Next year $150. The year after $155. Athletic participation fee. This is the one that probably gets a lot of parents. 2011, 2012, it was $20 per sport, $50 maximum. Last year it was $40 a sport, $100 maximum. This year it's $50 a sport, $150 maximum. Next 2 years, looking to go up to $60. High school, 2011, 2012, fees were $150. In 2013, or 2012, 2013, $190. This year, $220. Next year, $250. The year after, $255. The athletic fee for high school, I believe, was $60, a maximum of $150. I don't have the numbers for last year. They may be the same. This year is $125 per sport, a maximum $250. You're proposing next year same fee per sport, but a maximum of $300. I ask that these not keep going up. They already, I mean, some of these fees almost doubled from 2011, 2012 to 2012, 2013, and they continue to go up. My taxes alone, and I just happen to have these out. In 2010, my school taxes that we pay are $4,412.09. 2012 taxes in 2 years went up to $5,313.43. It went up $900 just in my school fees, not my total taxes, just the taxes I pay for the school district. So I ask that these fees not go up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please step forth. State your name, where you're from.
Hi, my name is Michelle Abrams, Bolingbrook, Illinois. I haven't made it out to many board meetings lately, and I regret that. But I have been able to view a lot of them on video and have gotten emails, phone calls, notes from numerous concerned parents in the district. Over the past few weeks, it's come to my attention that the board members and staff were texting during meetings. I've seen it in the videos. Other people have told me about it. Lots of people have made notes and documented who was texting at what point in the video or meeting. The impression that this gives is that A, either you're just plain being rude during the meeting, B, you're communicating to each other without sharing with the rest of the class, or you're bored and doing personal business and Lord knows what else on your phones. According to the Regional Board of Education, their opinion over the phone was that at the very least it's unprofessional. It just seems like you're too busy to pay attention to the community. Even tonight, people get up and talk and everyone's heads are down. Someone looks like they're falling asleep. It's unacceptable. We've voted you into office. You should be paying attention to us.
Can I address the texting you're talking about?
I'd like to finish first.
Okay, because I do want to make a
Sure.
comment about that.
Some have said that it's their opinion that you can do what you want with your personal cell phones while you're in the meeting, and that the text may not be subject to FOIA or the Freedom of Information Act, and you don't have to share what you're texting to each other with the public. However, according to Public Access Opinion number 11-006 from the Office of the Attorney General of the State of Illinois, referencing Wade and the City of Champaign, where the City of Champaign was found to have violated the requirements of the Freedom of Information Act by not fulfilling Mr. Wade's request under FOIA for the public recorded electronic communications. Now, the concern in the case was perhaps the most fundamental issue in interpreting the Freedom of Information Act. And that issue is, what is a public record? Specifically, electronic communications pertaining to public business which are sent from or received by an electronic device personally owned by a member of a public body rather than the public body itself is considered public record, which is subject to disclosure under FOIA. The term public records include all documentary materials pertaining to the transaction of public business, regardless of physical form, having been or being used by any public body. The Office of the Attorney General of Illinois opinion states that whether information is a public record is not determined by where, how, or on what device the record was created. Rather, the question is whether that record was prepared by or used by one or more members of a public body in conducting the affairs of that public body. The focus is on the creation of the record itself and how it was used. In the case of the City of Champaign, if the mayor and or city council members sent or received communications on personal electronic devices during meetings or study sessions, and those communications pertain to the transaction of public business, then those communications are public records, subject to the requirements of FOIA. Personal business, meetings, or family matters do not fall within the definition of public records. So if you tell me that you're doing personal business and don't need to disclose FOIA, that's fine. But my question is, why are you doing personal business on school board meeting time? The solution to texting is simple. To combat the rude behavior, the possible FOIA issues, possible legal issues, and to curb public suspicion, all you have to do is make a board rule that there's no cell phone usage during the meetings. And that's what I'm asking this board to do, is consider to make a rule that during the meetings, especially during public sessions, when people come out, take the time out of their day to speak to you, that you put down your phone and listen.
I'll make that motion right now. I'd be happy to make that motion. I do want to address your concern. Mr. Gugis was accused of texting when actually what he was doing was timing the speakers, because I was sitting right next to him and I asked him to do it. I just want that to be known, because I kept looking over at his phone because I was trying to get an idea how long the speakers, because we had a lot of people who wanted to speak and a lot of people who wanted to be addressed. He was using his phone as a clock. So that, just to address that. But I will put out a motion right now to not use cell phones during meetings. If anybody wants to second it.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Mission accomplished.
You know, I think it's important to note that, you know, that's been said that night. I use my phone to time the speakers because board policy is 5 minutes. And then when my phone died, I used my iPad to do it, which I use from time to time. The board looks at our computers because all the documents are on those computers. There was a FOIA. As far as I know, the board has turned over all details of the FOIA. I know in my own personal records for text messaging, I was told that I didn't have to turn over it, but I turned over. My message was, I'm running late from work. I will be there soon at 6:01. That two Mondays ago. You know, so I appreciate that there is concern with that, but quite honestly, Member Campbell and I just sat here and she leaned over and we were like, when are we going to do a moment of silence for our student that died? You know, that's the kind of stuff that happens. But if doing no cell phones that's fine. That's perfectly fine with all of us. I just think that it's unfortunate that things get said that don't mirror the truth.
Thank you.
I'd like to, Steve, go ahead, you want me?
Well, we can't have comments from the floor unless somebody wants to adjust to the microphone, but we get what you're saying. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a couple of comments. I work off my iPad up here. I don't have a laptop, and I don't know if you can see that. I sometimes take exception to people jumping to a conclusion and calling me certain things. I was asked via an email by 2 different people about my text messaging. Told them that they're more than welcome to look at all my text messages because I don't text message during a meeting, and they said that wasn't the problem, that won't be an issue. That's one thing, but then to make it a public forum and a statement, then I'd like to make the announcement that feel free to call or email us directly and ask us a question, and if you don't like what we have to say or you don't like our response, then come up here. But we also deserve a chance to respond to that. And pardon me?
Thank you.
Okay, well, again, I received 2 separate emails about that and saying that they were going to request the FOIA information, and absolutely, you can have all that information you want, and I don't know where that's at right now. But if anybody has a concern or a question, by all means, you're more than welcome. But I want to make sure that you all understand, this is my iPad. This is where I don't work off a laptop up here. So if you see me moving something, it's because I'm going through our agenda. And I want to make that for the public record as well.
Thank you, Dan. Moving down the agenda, if there's nobody else who wants to address the board, please step forward. State your name, where you're from.
Good evening. My name is Brian Millar. I live in Bolingbrook since 1996. I want to start off by apologizing to my 2 daughters, all the children in Valley View, and the residents of Romeoville and Bolingbrook. I was always told if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. For the past 18 years, I've been part of the problem with my apathy. I would like to be part of the solution. I don't like what's been going on at this school district, and I would like to change that. But I do want to thank Dr. Mitchum and Board Member Gugas for personally calling my wife on the day of the shooting that occurred in Romeoville. Excuse me. There was a period of about 16 minutes that my wife and I did not know where our daughter was. She gets bused to R.C. Hill. They acknowledged that there was mass confusion and situations like this need to be handled better. I do not lay blame squarely on the district. The transportation company and Romeoville Police Department also demonstrated a lack of preparedness, and hopefully this is an incident that can be used to be learned upon. I have to say, unless school buses are a direct target, parents and guardians should be able to know exactly where their children, children's buses are at. Anything less is unacceptable. That was very disturbing. I'm at work, my wife is texting me, calling me. We're trying to call the school, the bus company, the admin center. We don't know where your daughter's at. She's at this location. No, she's not because I'm here. She's at the school. No, she's not there because the bus didn't arrive at. They're somewhere in Bolingbrook. Well, where? You know, I mean, I do thank you guys for calling. That was very nice. On the subject of lockdowns, another incident needs to be reviewed. When the student pulled a BB gun at school, there seemed to be somewhat of a chaotic scene at BHS. I asked the student what happened and was told that people were running and screaming. I don't know how true that is, but I'm sure there was panic. I then asked my daughter, who's in 8th grade, what procedure is for a lockdown during passing periods, and she informed me there is none. I get from these 2 incidences that lockdown situations are only going to occur when students are in classrooms. This lack of forethought does not instill confidence in me. I remember when Dr. Mitchum became principal of Bolingbrook High School. The things I heard were positive and that he would turn the school around. Then he was named to be the superintendent, and again I heard that this would be good for the district. I believe that he truly cares about the students, and I believe he has helped many students. Since he has become superintendent, though, I have not had much positive things, and I do not see much improvement in the district. Quite frankly, I'm not impressed with neither the superintendent nor the school board. I've only been in a couple board meetings, and I have seen some things that, some things that have disturbed me. One of them was the apparent rudeness for electronic devices. I like to know the full story. I mean, I'm glad we got to hear both sides of it, but I also think the people in the audience should show the same courteous. You shouldn't be on the phones texting when they're talking. But I'm not going to give up my phone because the only reason I got the cell phone was for emergencies. If my kids need to get a hold of me, they should do it. So I don't really want to beat that one to death. Also, I noticed that the board members are apologizing for other board members. I don't think that should be done. If someone says something and does not feel an apology is needed, there's no value in the apology from the person who's making the apology. The lack of apology speaks volumes about the character. Also, I'd also like things to be factual. I hear things that studies show this, studies show that. Like I said, I haven't been to all the meetings, but I don't hear what these studies are, where they're cited from. So I'd like that to be cited so we can be informed. And also, Mr. White announced his resignation. It was mentioned in an email that he was supported by his accomplishments at BHS. I'm confused by the lack of consideration given to collaborate and work with Mr. White if such opinions truly exist. I just kind of frustrated with the whole thing. Also, I don't want to beat Mr. White to death. He's gone. He's not coming back. I just don't understand why someone from Romeoville High School was sent to be the principal in interim at Bolingbrook High School. I thought that maybe the assistant principals are there for that reason to step up. So I'm just kind of confused on that. Oh, sorry, whole thing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchell?
Yes, Mr. President, I would ask that the board approve student due process cases A through F as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Kinder?
Yes, sir. This evening with Action Report 10.1, we are seeking your approval on the Special Education Extended School Year Program. I previously presented this information at the previous board meeting. Extended School Year, commonly referred to as ESY, is a program that is provided for a limited portion of our special education population for students who exhibit considerable regression of learned skills and the inability to recoup the loss in a reasonable period of time, as determined by their individual education plan, their IEP. Our locations this year for the program are here at the Early Childhood Center. Our elementary students are at R.C. Hill, and our middle, high school, and STEP students will be at Bolingbrook High School. The start date for the program is June 6th. Erica Ekstrom, Executive Director of Student Services, and myself would be happy to answer any questions if you have any at this time.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion or questions of Ms. Kinder? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Summer school program.
Yes, sir. Action Report 10.2 is seeking your approval on our high school summer school program for 2014. This includes the general high school program, the driver education program, and the Phoenix summer program. The location this year is at Bolingbrook High School, and our start date for our first session is June 9th. Again, I would be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. School calendar, Ms. Kinder.
Okay, Action Report 10.3 is seeking your approval on the 2014-2015 school year, 2014-2015, school year calendar is being presented for approval and adoption. This calendar, as presented previously, was developed by the Calendar Committee with diverse representation from district, union representation, and Board of Education, as well as parent review, and our community also had the chance to review and provide input.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion or comments? You look like you want to say something. No. Thank you for your work on the committee.
You're welcome. We did get together as a committee after the last meeting that we had where we did not approve it, and went over with the committee and came up with the new calendar. So hopefully we'll do.
We have a motion and we have a second. No further discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next, Mr. Grisafi. Band
Yes,
shell.
first action this evening is a recommendation to approve the bid for a acoustic sound shell at Bolingbrook High School to Winger Corporation in the amount of $127,900. They are not the low bidder. The low bidder was an alternate bid that was deemed less quality construction than the original bid requirements that Winger had submitted for. The funding for the project is listed in the memorandum. Earlier this evening, you approved donations and commitments totaling over $65,000. We are hopeful that at the end of the fundraising campaign, it will be in the neighborhood of $70,000. Bolingbrook High School is committing $35,000 of capital improvement monies from their account in the amount of $35,000, and the district capital improvement account $22,900 to cover the costs of the project.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
The state of Illinois finds itself with approximately $18 million left in school maintenance grants for 2014. They have established a very short window between February 3rd and February 28th for the school maintenance grant second round. We have promoted a grant request to you. It's a matching grant request for the installation of audio and visual notification to students and staff per our lockdown procedures. And this would be accomplished by exterior horns, AV equipment, and software that connects to our current building systems. We anticipate the cost of this project for all buildings in the neighborhood of $120,500, and we would like to access and utilize the $50,000 grant that the state is offering. It does not mean that if we apply, we will receive it. Often the question is asked that if the grant was not received, would the project still go forward? And per Member Felice's comments, this is something that's been on our radar as phase 2, if you will, of our security improvements. With the grant making itself available, certainly it's a very opportune time to leverage that. So we are asking to have that approved.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
And President Quigley?
Yes. Action reports. Ms. Hawks.
Thank you, President Quigley. Action Report 12.1 this evening. We're seeking your approval on the Consolidated Action Report for certified and classified personnel. This includes 14 items for certified personnel, 16 for classified, and 1 for administrative classified personnel.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
My second action report, 12.2, is resolution number 1473, seeking your approval this evening for authorizing the dismissal of educational support personnel employees for reasons other than reduction in force.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
And my final action report this evening, 12.3, is resolution number 1474. We're seeking your approval this evening to authorize the execution of employment separation agreement.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
No.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
No. Motion having received enough votes is declared passed. Next, summer learning experience. Superintendent's reports.
Yes, I have that information report for you, President Quigley. I'm very pleased to share with the community and the Board of Education some preliminary information about our elementary school summer learning experience program. Please note that this is a lot of information that is being presented on the public board docs, and that's available to the community now. However, there will be extensive communication efforts that will take place with all of this information so that all of our families are aware and are able to enroll their students in this fantastic opportunity. So I would just like to briefly share some information with you and answer any questions that you have, and then you can look forward to upcoming information. The vision of Summer Learning Experience, which this will be our 3rd year, is to create an educational opportunity for the students in our community that reduces summer learning loss and strategically increases student achievement. It's very important to us to ensure that this opportunity is available for our students, and it's a part of our strategic plan as a district. Incorporating the rigor in alignment with the Common Core state standards and the curriculum that is in place in Valley View is a high priority. We want to ensure that we have tailored the program to meet the needs of all of our community members as best as possible. We have sought feedback from the families who were involved in the program previously, as well as families who chose not to enroll, as to what could make the program most attractive for them as an option for their child's summer program experience or their child care experience in the summer. We are going to be presenting a 6-week session of engaging learning experiences in language arts and mathematics, as well as opportunities for creative growth through interactive science experiments and literacy development through Reader's Theater. Students will work with certified experienced teachers, and our goal is for them to sustain or enhance instructional gains that they have made throughout the school year and have fun at the same time. We are proposing 3 sites for our students, and we are proposing 1 grade level classroom per site, pre-K through 5, and this again is available to all in-district students as well as students out of district, and we do have a number of students who take part in that. We are continually looking to improve the program as it has been in place previously, and we've taken information from our debrief as well as feedback from parents and teachers to really refine and enhance the program. The start date for our program is June 12th, and it will run for 6 weeks with no class in session on July 3rd and July 4th. The classes run 8:30 to 3:15 p.m. daily, Monday through Friday. We are scheduling a parent orientation on the evening of June 11th. So I know you're probably not catching all these dates now, but please note, parents, that a mailing will be coming home with you, and you will be receiving information from your school as well. So we highly encourage you to consider taking advantage of this program for our students. Our school sites this year will be J.R. Tibbet, R.C. Hill, and Independence. And our goal is to increase enrollment in the program. We had a number of students who did take advantage of it, but we of course would love to increase that, and we will staff accordingly based on the number of students who do choose to enroll. In addition to the teaching staff, we will have administrative staff to support, nursing staff, lunchroom playground aides, and secretarial staff. Curriculum materials have already been purchased, and our goal with the curriculum is to really refine the experience that the students are receiving, and we did hear feedback from parents who felt that their student who was high achieving, for example, may not have been challenged, and we are well aware of the needs of our students coming into the program, and we'll use all of that data that we have to ensure that we are differentiating and we are giving the students what they need and having fun at the same time. The cost will be $100 per week, which includes breakfast and lunch, and of course, instruction by our highly qualified and certified teachers. We did do a survey of area summer programs and daycare as well, and we found this to be a very good deal and very competitive with those programs in the area. And at the same time, it will allow us to run a program that we can sustain, basically pay for the program by the fees that the families pay. So there's a great deal of information provided in this report here, and there will be extensive communication going on with our community, and encourage you to reach out to us if you have any questions, and you can most definitely speak to the teachers who've been enrolled before, and the best spokespeople that we could offer are students who have participated in the program before, and they would certainly tell you what they think of the program, and that they found it to be fun and that they felt that they learned, and we hope that you choose to take advantage of this program.
Thank you.
Just a couple questions or points. It appears that the big changes would be moving from 4 to 3 sites, going from 2 4-week sessions to 1 6-week session.
That is correct.
But the before and after care, our partnerships with all the various groups that do before and after care are still in place?
I'm sorry, that was a huge oversight. Yes, our before and after care programs will be in place at our buildings, and that just provides an added service and convenience to our families who may need to drop off before the start of the program or pick up slightly after. And so that will be available, and that is for a separate additional charge.
And have we established the out-of-district fee yet?
The out-of-district fee is $125.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving down the agenda. Student fees proposal.
Before you this evening, we've got a proposed student fee schedule for 2014 as well as 2015-16. The primary changes incorporated into the schedule is that registration fees would be increased by $5 for each year. At the middle school level, the co-curricular athletic participation fee would be raised by $10 for 14-15 to $60 per sport and remain unchanged for the 15-16 year at that $60 level. There would be a cap of $150 for each year, as well as the high school, where co-curricular non-athletic, non-competitive club fees would be eliminated and combined into the registration fee. And by doing that, we're hoping to streamline the number of fees that we charge, as well as encouraging students to take advantage of the opportunity to become involved in the diverse clubs that we offer at the high school level without having to pay that additional activity fee, regardless of the number of activities that they might participate in or show interest in. The co-curricular non-athletic participation fee would remain at $50 for those competitive activities like mathletes, scholastic bowl, and chess. And that's primarily due to the fact that those activities involve transportation as well as officials. To give you some perspective, the cost associated with our co-curricular program, which again is a very comprehensive, very robust, if you will, offering to our students. Stipends alone run about $3 million annually. Officials are about $150,000, and transportation runs about $300,000. So the co-curricular offerings that we provide run about $3.5 million annually. The co-curricular fees that we levy to our participants last year generate about $326,000. So we're collecting just about 10% of the overall cost that we incur, if you will, by offering the co-curricular activities throughout the elementary, middle, and high school. And so again, I did provide you a survey of surrounding districts, large unit districts, if you will, to give you some idea of how we stack up. And again, I think our fees rate pretty favorably in terms of where they're set, even with the modest increases that are being proposed. And so, again, it is just an information report providing you with the opportunity to provide any feedback or questions before we bring it to action at our next meeting.
There was a community member that came up and mentioned these earlier. I think one of the struggles with student fees is the following. So we collect $385,000 for programs that cost over $3 million. So sometimes we have taxpayers that come up and say, I am subsidizing programs that my kids don't participate in, and my taxes are high because I'm subsidizing them. Then we have parents who are kids participate in different activities, and they're like, hey, the fees keep going up. So there is this struggle and balance to find the right mix there with, hey, fees, the fees are never going to offset the total cost, but who should bear that? Should it be a user fee-based system? Should it not be a user fee-based system? Should it be more user fees? That is the financial, and I can't find the community member, I'm trying to find her out there, but that is the financial hiccup that occurs with student fees. So I think in the next 2 weeks we should have that conversation and discuss what fees in particular seem problematic. I know that I see that you're eliminating the, how did you describe them, co-curricular
activity fee for non-competitive sports at the high school level.
But and we saw that there was some detriment with that fee. That was.
We did something similar 2 years ago at the middle school, just to encourage students to participate in those activities where really the only thing involved is a stipend. There isn't transportation, there aren't officials involved. and again, I don't have any data to support the idea that more kids maybe took advantage of it, but very often a student might express interest in a particular club or activity and decide, you know what, it's not for them. And so it's difficult to, maybe they have to pay the fee, now we've got to, process a refund, or it might be enough that they just, it might be a barrier for them participating in something that they would like to participate in, but just maybe can't afford that fee. With athletics, again, with the cost of, again, transportation continuing to go up, officials, those costs, are usually adjusted annually. We continue to bear those increases as they occur, and so, again, it's that constant struggle as you alluded to earlier.
So with that, before the next board meeting, we'll call a finance committee meeting. If that committee member wishes to attend, by all means, let
Ms. Otto.
Okay, thank you. There you are. Let's make sure, I don't know if Mr. Rand is here. If you can get her information, he's in the back, and we'll invite you out, and we'll crunch through these numbers together, see what we can come up with for next meeting.
Thank you. Go ahead.
What was the percentage again? I was looking in the report. You don't have it in the report. The percentage of what we are responsible for, what our fees are paying, and what is the actual cost?
10%.
Yeah, again,
10%.
between the stipends, the transportation officials, we're about $3.5 million budgeted. From a collection standpoint, at least from a budget, we're not through the year yet, we're about $326,000 that's budgeted to be collected from those associated fees. So it's about 10%, give or take.
One other question, sorry. When you did the comparison of other similar size large unit school districts and that, they're similar in size, do they do similar things from a transportation standpoint and everything else similar to what we do as far as, are they busing the same way we're busing and so forth?
I think the biggest service that we continue to provide that many districts don't are activity buses. Those students who participate in after-school activities, whether they be sports or clubs, are left to provide their own transportation to and from. We continue to provide activity buses for our students who participate in after-school athletics. I don't have the cost here. I certainly could break that out for you, but that's probably the biggest difference of services that we provide that many districts have gotten away from.
If you would, I would like to see that information, only because it's, I think we want to make sure we're looking at apples to apples.
Any other questions of Gary? Moving down the agenda, legal services, Ms. Hanson.
No report.
Thank you. AFT reports. Thank you. Valley View Council report. Thank you. Valley View Office Council report. Thank you. Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Please step forth and state your name.
Just a quick question. Beth Donofrio from Bolingbrook. Previously stated by a community member who came up. I'm just curious, could you guys answer any questions as to why staff in Bolingbrook High School wasn't put in place at Bolingbrook, and why Romeoville staff was brought over there? I'm just curious.
Dr. Mitchell, you want
to answer that question?
Yeah.
From my perspective, the administration at Bolingbrook High School was significantly engulfed in the issues of concern that were prevalent there, that pretty much is public knowledge. I felt from my desk that it was important that we bring someone in there with a fresh perspective, with a new perspective that was not directly involved in all of the issues of concern that were prevalent at Bolingbrook High School. That included myself. And so someone who could come in with a fresh set of eyes and look at the issues that were pervasive at Bolingbrook High School and make decisions accordingly. Further, I'm not 100% sure that the administrators at Bolingbrook High School were willing to accept that position. Again, I say I'm not 100% sure that they were, but I did think it was in the best interest of the staff, given that there were some division within the building. As those of you who have been involved in this process know, that I think appointing one of those administrators would have continued to exacerbate that situation rather than promote healing. And so Yolanda Jordan was a dean at Bolingbrook High School. She's very well respected by the staff there. She has proven herself as an accomplished administrator at Romeoville High School. I think that she's been very well received there in the first four days that she's been there. And I think she provides the best opportunity for us to move forward from this unfortunate situation and put Bolingbrook High School back in a place both emotionally and mentally that will best serve the needs of our students.
Okay. And I think it's important to mention that Ms. Jordan was there before. I think Ms. Jordan, to that point, has fresh eyes, but yet Bolingbrook High School is not foreign to her.
Right, and I know the kids,
time.
it's been 5 years, right? So none of the kids there know her now, right?
I don't know, it's been 5? 5 seems way long.
I thought it was 5 years.
No, but many of the staff do know her.
Okay.
Absolutely.
3? 4. She says 4.
Got hands in the back.
And was there another administrator put in place there too? I'm just trying to send my information. Was it
Mr. Krause was a career administrator in our district for well over 30 years. He retired as the principal of Brooks Middle School. He is not there acting as an administrator. He's acting there as a consultant to Ms. Jordan, being that he has a history in our district as being a very accomplished principal. He's there as well to just listen to the concerns of the staff, act as a sounding board for them, and be an advisor to Ms. Jordan.
So he's already paid as a consultant. There's not an additional fees on top of what he's doing at Bolingbrook?
Yes, he's being paid as a consultant.
Okay.
He's a consultant in our district, and he operates in different capacities depending on need.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's worked at other schools this year, correct? He's worked at Hermanson.
Right.
Yes. Has he been here?
Yes, he's worked at the Administration Center. He's worked at Hermanson as well.
Anybody else wish to address the board on actions we have taken this evening? Please step forth and state your name and where you're from, for the record.
Hi, I'm Colleen Dowdy, and I'm from Bolingbrook. My first question has to do with the agenda itself. I noticed that there are that 5.2 and 5.3 is what I'm asking about. I've looked at previous agendas, and there hasn't been 2 approvals or 2, I'm not even sure what it is exactly. Why are there 2 listings for executive session?
The second set of minutes were minutes from years gone past that were not approved as an agenda item for executive session minutes. We had to approve those this evening, and we will come back and approve them finally after they've been reprinted and retyped. Some of the things were lost over the years, and it's a house cleaning methodology, basically.
So not this year?
Pardon me?
Not this year, they're not meeting?
There's nothing from this year, that's correct.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this question, so I'll ask it. Ms. Campbell, why did you vote no to approve this section?
Because the minutes are from such a past dates. That's why I chose not to vote on that.
Why is it? I don't understand why we're doing it. Is it something that you have to do? Is it?
By state statute, at some point you have to approve executive session minutes. I'm not sure the whole process of that, but over the years you just approve them as they go. They get written into the record, and then they have to be stored like any other document for possibility of future use.
How did you figure out that you hadn't approved them in past years?
The attorney was going through records and found certain weeks or months or whatever were missing.
I think actually maybe even our board clerk found them. Bottom line, years ago they should have been included on the agenda like the 2 10 minutes are, and they weren't.
Okay.
So we're going back to get them. No, fair question.
I just noticed, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can, so I thought I would ask. I had sent an email earlier this week requesting that ParentLink be used to invite the community to these meetings. I felt like there was a portion of our community who doesn't have access to the internet. I feel like there's a portion of the community that is not even aware that they're welcome to these meetings. And I did get a response from Mr. Felice, and he said that he felt like we had to be very careful about how we used parent links because we didn't want, no one wants parent link to be ignored by parents. And if we sent out requests for meetings that are pre-scheduled and at the same time that might lead to parents ignoring those parent links, which I understand, and I can certainly even agree with that. I wonder, however, if maybe we can at least once send out a notice via parent link letting the community know that they are welcome to these meetings, and that if they didn't have access to internet, maybe they could call the school district and ask for a listing of the meeting times.
Okay, so noted. Thank you.
One other question. I know that we are not allowed to know what the agreement was between Mr. White and the school district, so I'm certainly not going to ask for that. But what I would like to know is, as a community and as stakeholders in this process, are we allowed to know what the financial impact of that decision is?
Those sorts of things are FOIA-able, so you certainly could submit a FOIA to request that information.
Okay.
I will put it to you this way. In my humble opinion, minimal.
Okay. Okay. Are we also allowed to know what the financial impact of settlement lawsuits? I mean, are we allowed to know what the financial impact of those are to the district?
Likewise, most likely what you're looking for is probably in a document that would be FOIA-able, so then you would go through the process to submit a request.
Right. When I just don't know like what we're allowed to know and what we're not, and I was told that we're not allowed to know the details of that employment separation agreement, and part of the details would be financial. So when someone says you're not allowed to know those details, for someone like me who's not, savvy with the way this all works, to me that's telling me that I'm not allowed to know the financial implications, and so I would just walk away going, oh, I'm not allowed to know. But that's why I'm asking the question, is because I'm not sure.
Right, and I'm telling you that those documents are FOIA-able.
Okay.
So anyone who's interested would be able to submit a FOIA request through the process that's outlined. And the difficulty is, if you're asking what the financial impact is, that's requesting sort of a disclosure or an answer to a question, and that's not necessarily a document that's already...
I get your point.
Right. So
okay.
You would have to then compare
correctly, right.
And there are other documents though that are accessible that you can then compare. What is the annual budget? What is the revenue? All those sorts of things.
Okay.
And you would be able to help answer those questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
There was a question a couple of weeks ago about the number of lawsuits currently in the district. Ms. Hanson, could you explain that? How many there are?
Sure. There was thank you for that reminder. There was a question regarding the number of lawsuits that are active in the district right now, and there are currently 3 lawsuits. We're not going to discuss the details of that litigation, but there are 3 active lawsuits. Lawsuits themselves are filed in court, and so those are public records. However, any of the details regarding resolving them or settling them while litigation is pending is not something that's typically disclosed for a variety of reasons. But so if people were interested in identifying the number of active lawsuits, and that is 3 that are currently right now.
Hi. Ms. Otto.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I didn't just bring up the athletic fees. It was also the registration fees, the book fees, just to clarify. And then the comparisons, because those were printed out with the the listing of the school fees and the proposed school fees. Do those school districts also, I know you said similar size, do they have same income levels as our school district?
Some do, some don't.
Okay, yeah. Because I can't imagine Naperville, Indian Prairie, and even Wheaton have the same income levels as we do. I don't know about, I don't Plainfield, Oswego, Elgin, possibly, but yeah, I'd have to look into that. I didn't have much time to prepare for this.
Sure, I can't argue that point.
All right, thank you.
We do have a waiver process, correct? For fees?
Correct.
We do, okay. Who said really? Yes, really.
Hi, please state your name, where you're from.
Hi, I'm Carol Stigger. I've been a Bolingbrook resident and homeowner for 13 years. I'm a certified teacher and a professional journalist. As a journalist, I've learned to go to the source. We all know that there is a whole lot of, let's just call it information going around, and nobody knows what to believe. So I'm going to keep this simple. I asked an attorney to give me 2 questions that'll clarify at least some of this information going around, and maybe we can all start working together from a better position of trust. This is a yes or no question. Does the administration, can't read, have any policy as to conflicts of interest? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What measures do you take to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest? And will you share that, will you release such documents to the public?
It's readily available at the county clerk's office. We have to sign an affidavit annually if we have any conflicts and what those conflicts may be.
I think she's talking about the administration. Are you talking about the board or the administration? Because they're separate.
Both.
Okay, the board members have to file an affidavit with the county. It's a
County clerk's a state law.
So there's a process.
Right.
And there's a paper
And that's,
trail.
yeah, so you could go down to the county clerk's office and request that information from him.
Okay, this is some information that is going around. So now we know where to go to check it out. Thank you for your time.
Wait, stop. That's not clear. That information is only at the county for the employee, for the board. Are you talking about the administration or the board? That only clarifies the board.
The board?
That's only the board. Like, I was a sub before this district, before I became a school board member. That was a conflict. So now I sub in Naperville 203. So that's how that is only for the board. I just want to make sure that you're clear.
Okay, just for the board.
That's just for the board.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, I would, please step up. State your name, where you're from.
Michelle Abrams, Bolingbrook. I have actually 2 things. Ms. Kinder, is it? For your summer learning experience, is it only if you can pay, or is there also some sort of a subsidy or scholarship for the free and reduced lunch kids?
There are scholarships available that are grant funded through Title I federal funding.
Okay.
And that's based on academic and financial need. And so, yes, we do intend to award scholarships to not all free and reduced lunch students, but certain students who do qualify.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And Mr. Quigley, we did get your statement of economic interest from the clerk for the past couple years, and you listed none on every line.
I don't have any economic interest.
Where do you work?
I work for the Will County Government League.
That would be one of those things that you put where you work on the line, I believe.
I'm sure that that's on there, but I have no copy. You have to read the questions.
There's
I'm not going to
nothing
get
on
into a debate about something I filled out a year and a half ago. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask everybody bow your heads in a moment of silence for the student that was killed tragically 2 weeks ago, Brianna Valley. So if you would, please. Thank you. Any announcements by the board this evening?
Yes, just one. I'd like to let everybody know that this Sunday, Heart Haven Outreach, which is an organization here in town that helps high school age students in our district that have some issues at hand and troubles adjusting and so forth. There's a fundraiser this Sunday. It's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and it's some decent basketball. If you come out to Brooks Middle School this Sunday, games tip off at 1. They'll go most of the afternoon. There's also a pretty successful chili cook-off as well.
Rub it in, bub.
I only say that because I'm the defending champ, but I will not be there to defend my title. But it's a terrific organization. It's a terrific event. I think it's $1 to get in to watch the games all afternoon. So I don't think cost is a factor. There'll be concessions there as well, and it's a great opportunity to support a great organization. So I'd love if everybody could take even an hour out of their day just to come Sunday afternoon. We'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question on that. I was asked by some young budding athletes if they can still register.
At
and
this
I told
time,
them I did not know.
Unfortunately, registration is closed.
Okay.
The brackets are set. We have 11 teams competing, and tip-offs are at 1. There'll be 3 games going on, 2 in the main gym and then 1 in the auxiliary gym at Brooks. And championship right now is slated for, I think, 5 o'clock. But there's also a skills and 3-on-3 competition and so forth. So it's it'll be a pretty fun event. If you like basketball or if you like to support it, please come out.
At one of our meetings about 2 weeks ago, a community member had mentioned about our FANS program that she'd been involved in, was wondering where that stood. And so we are going to look at regrouping that, and I'm going to go ahead and oversee that kind of on a more of a district level. I had done it in the high school level when my children were there. So we hope to begin to do that, and are looking for community members and parents and people just interested in helping our kids, as well as there's teachers, anyone involved that wanted to help out with each of the schools across all of our towns, both in Romeoville and in Bolingbrook, and try to help bring that into better play.
Ms. Sikora, you look like you had something.
Certainly. I just want to reiterate, Mr. Lawler, last board meeting brought up the Valley View Enrichment Foundation dinner on Friday, March 21st. We raised money solely to give grants to teachers. For any activity, it is judged. We have 3 people who read out through all the grants and award points, and then we go over all of that to determine the winners of those grants. And I encourage anybody, please come out and support us. And if you have not gotten an invitation, see me and I'll make sure you get one, or that I send you one.
Quick announcement. A lot of the board work doesn't happen here. It happens out in the community with committee work and things of that nature. Member Campbell, earlier you mentioned that you want the board to meet with teachers. I would highly encourage you to be more specific. I would highly encourage you to put an action plan together and outline, contact this union leadership, contact parents, contact how that form should look like, contact our legal counsel to figure out how we can be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. I think we need more detail than we should have a meeting. And when we put committee work together, we have to put together details and things that we can take action on and do. So I think not a board member up here wouldn't want to be there and participate in it, but it takes work behind the scenes to say what that meeting's going to look like, where it's going to happen, who it's going to be with, how we're going to do it. Are we doing it all together? Are we doing it by grade level, elementary? What's the process of that to look like? And someone has to take that groundwork and run with that. And without that, it's just, we should have a meeting.
Just because Dan makes...
President Quigley was talking to me. May I please respond?
I didn't hear you.
I have no problem taking that. We didn't have too much of a problem coming together, getting this March 6th meeting together without anybody asking for my help. But my help is always available. Attorney Hanson, are you ready? And any other board member ready to do some behind the scene work? I have no problem of spearheading this. I felt that I heard pain and I want to precede that pain. We're bringing the community, and I think I heard Dr. Mitchum says that the reason why Ms. Jordan was over there because we needed some emotionally and mentally healing, and I'm sure he didn't mention academic, but I thought that that's where we're going to. So with all that pain and that hurt, I am willing to do some behind the scenes, to whatever it takes, that this Valley View School District 365U, And that's why my voice now is probably cracking because I hardly get any sleep. But whatever it takes, I am ready to spearhead that.
I did want to thank one person. I wanted to thank Ms. Jordan. I appreciate what you're doing for the students of Valley View. You know, that's a difficult position that you step into. Probably a lot of people wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. And I know that you did it because you have the students' best interest in heart. So thank you very much.
Also, I would encourage my fellow board members to fill out the survey from the School Board Association. Get that, whoever gets, I guess that goes to Jeff directly, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so get that done. I started filling out, it takes about a half hour. So
okay, President Quiggs, you want to explain to that? You just told them that we need to fill out a survey, but I'm sure somebody's saying, what is that survey for?
This is for a board member workshop.
Yeah, I understand what they're for, but they don't know, so that's why I'm asking you.
Board member workshop. Because she's here in the back, and Amy Repsis is here as well. Ladies, thank you for your hard efforts. And I have a check for you from a sponsor, or whatever you want to call them, that before you leave tonight, I want to make sure you get that check. So I hope that you get close to $70,000. I think that's where you're going to probably get close to. And maybe there's some people in the community who still want to help out with that process. That would be fabulous. I still want to take umbrage with Dan's winning the chili cook-off at H2O last year because he brought cheerleaders. I think that's not fair in the rules of chili. I understand, but with that, if there's no announcements by the administration?
Yes, I do have one. I recognize that as a result of the issues at Bolingbrook High School that the community has suffered somewhat, and I just want to say that as a superintendent, I take full responsibility for the issues of concern at Bolingbrook High School. Never in a million years did I think that when I accepted this position as a superintendent of schools 2.5 years ago, that we would be looking for our third principal in 4 years. And ultimately, as much as we go through committee work, as much as we have teachers and community members and board members and senior leaders and administrators involved in this process, the bottom line, I ultimately have to make the decision as to who the principal at Bolingbrook High School will be and has been over the last 2.5 years. So I want to apologize to the public for putting Bolingbrook in this situation. I want to apologize to the board for putting this school district in this situation. Clearly, we need to find a better vetting process for the selection of the principal of Bolingbrook High School. It was not my intention for the previous two to resign. It is not my intention for the next principal to resign. But I just do want to apologize to the public for the fact that we're in this situation, and I take full responsibility for it. Also, we will be meeting on March 6th at Bolingbrook High School at 6:00 p.m. I do not have an agenda. It is an open forum, and you are welcome to come and ask any questions of this administration that you see fit, given that your tax dollars pay our salaries and we are accountable to you. I just hope that at the conclusion of that meeting, I have a little posterior left. Thank you.
Any announcements? Any announcements from the public? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Have a great evening. Be safe. Stay warm. 24 days till spring.